West Tigers fans, our boys came out at the 8th wonder of the world at Leichhardt Oval, one of the youngest squads in NRL history, and the boys brought home a win. Let's celebrate that tonight on the WestsLife Podcast. Welcome in to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast, but a very special one because we are celebrating a victory by the West Tigers. We haven't got to do many of those in the past few seasons, so a huge show. We can see all of our regulars and plenty rolling in, joining us live on a Monday night. Thank you to everyone while you're on our YouTube at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter as well. But if you go to our YouTube page, if you haven't already, subscribe. We're well into the past 1,000 mark. Seen all our regulars popping up. Shane, Riff, we've got the Blake, all the Hamish, Liam, Carla's in there too. Brandon, Mark, thank you for joining us again. Patreon.com/WestsLife. We'll get the guys' comments and rants and that sort of thing. Man, you can imagine what our Discord was like during this one. We're at the game, so there was notifications galore. I didn't get to. There was too much to keep up with. But shouts to Riff, who always summarizes it when he wakes up over there in Miami as well. And don't forget, there's a link, or if you go to westtigers.com.au, you'll find a link to everything that we do. Let's go to my co-hosts. They were both at the 8th wonder of the world on the weekend, and sitting to my left was Mr. Thompson. How are you this evening?
Yeah, g'day Josh, g'day Rob, g'day everyone watching and listening. I'm pretty good, mate. It's always nice to celebrate a win alongside you, alongside your young fella for a while. Yeah, it was really great scenes watching the whole entire crowd at Leichhardt celebrating what was a much-deserved win after a pretty tumultuous period.
And while we were nice and dry for the most part in the Lachlan Robinson stand, this man, he wasn't afraid to go over on the hill with the punters, well, on the seats in front of the hill with the punters. Mr. Bashara, how are you this evening? How did you enjoy a victory at the 8th wonder of the world, our favourite place on earth, Leichhardt Oval?
G'day, Josh. G'day, Aaron. G'day, everyone out there. We're all winners tonight, aren't we, for a change? I loved it, mate. My seats are a little bit too close to the ground. Like, I'm literally second row back, so you don't quite get a view of what, like when the boys are 10 metres out, they look like they're 2 metres out. So just sort of distorts the optics a little bit. But no, it was good out there. The rain, we really only had a little bit of rain just before and during halftime. And yeah, it was a really unexpected victory, and just a, never say die attitude, the typical Tigers attitude. And we showed a will to win, to somehow win a game that, we were, at least for, I reckon, about 3/4 of the game, we were pretty much dominated. But the boys found something, and as you said, one of the youngest teams ever to win a game. So, yeah, a very pleasant surprise.
Shout outs to our man over in England, Phil Rogers. He sent us £5 from London. I can't remember if it's London. He's in England. I can't remember specifically in London. Let us know, Phil. But he said the Tigers win. Leichhardt gets $40 million. Rothfield nearly in tears on 360. What a great weekend. Rob, you mentioned this before we went to air about this Rothfield getting hammered by our friend Braithen Nasta. I actually missed it. Can you let me and the listeners know, for those others who missed it, what happened there? And I need to rewatch this after we get off tonight.
Okay, so they were having a bit of firstly a bit of banter about Leichhardt Oval. They got onto the Lachlan Galvin situation, and last week Anasta had brought up the involvement of Scott Fulton, who was obviously our football manager for about 5 minutes last year. And Buzz Rothfield did an article with Scott Fulton. Apparently Scott Fulton had asked for a right of reply because he was getting a little bit of blame from Anasta last week. And yeah, long story short, Anasta just basically ripped into Rothfield about sort of saying, well, you guys are trying to throw Benji under the bus, blaming him, where you have to admit that Fulton has a role in all of this. And a bit more to it. They were mentioning the Josh Schuster deal, which I don't believe Fulton saying that we were going to get him for a cheaper deal. I know that's bullshit because I spoke to Schuster's manager in the middle of that whole thing, saying that, he didn't want to send the Fainu boys over without Schuster. And, Schuster was a good buy, but he'd be, costing a fair bit of coin. So, it was just, I thought Buzz was going to cry for a minute and almost made me sort of laugh. But then I think, Braith just pulled the handbrake and eased up, and then they had a bit of a chuckle at the end of it.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it. But definitely plenty of schadenfreude for that old red-faced gibberer. One place that isn't full of gibberers, they're our friends over at Mobile Corp, and they help local businesses by managing their IT, their networks, and their mobile devices. If you're a local business owner looking for a partner who will take away the hassle of dealing with IT issues and make sure you have cyber security in place, handle all. Man, there's a lot of that's definitely a help. There's lots of different companies getting hacked and details stolen, so they can help out with that. Handle all your mobile device needs, then Mobile Corp can help. Mobile Corp is a family-run business and long-time supporter of the West Tigers. You reach out to our mate Stephen, big supporter of the West Tigers and this show as well, at Mobile Corp, mobilecorp.com.au. That's mobilecorp.com.au. What would happen if the West Tigers got hacked? What would they find? What would the hackers find?
We were hacked, but the hackers were there in person. They were chairman and CEO, mate. Jeez.
They're hacks, not hackers. Righto, on to the news. So, since we last went on the air, this is a few days old now. It obviously happened well before the game, but good old Albo, Bazo Faz, the chair of the West Tigers, got together. They announced that the beautiful Leichhardt Oval is getting $40 million of funding to get upgrades. They're going to get some ladies separate change rooms, some better facilities, new toilets, I assume. Shouts to Roy and HG, who've been campaigning for the toilets at Leichhardt Oval as well. But Rob, as someone who's been going to Leichhardt Oval for 4 decades, would that be accurate?
One more, which I wouldn't like to admit, but I have to.
Okay, 5 decades, even better. Yeah, how did this make you feel that Leichhardt Oval? Richo hasn't confirmed yet. He's being hush on the whole thing, whether this will be enough to continue playing there. But you would think it's kind of. I think he's played this game well. I think he's a big part of why this is happening. He's kind of dealt the card, saying basically we need upgrades or we're leaving, and the government listened.
Yeah, look, it's great news for us. We're still copping a bit of criticism from the likes of Rothfield, saying that we still haven't made a decision on how many home games we would play. Unbeknownst to me, which I found out tonight, I didn't realise that all this redevelopment takes place in 2027. I'm not sure. Maybe some of the listeners out there can help us, but I'm not sure. Obviously, with a refurbishment, the ground's going to be shut for a while, so I'm not sure what seasons we won't be able to play there. But I don't know how Richo's meant to make any commitment to Leichhardt Oval when we've only known for 5 minutes that we've just got an extra 40 million. One other thing I will say, Brent Reid was saying tonight that the place needs 300 million, that 40 million is not enough. Guys, it's a footy ground. I mean, I know the costs of construction and things like that have gone up. I think 40 million should do a lot for Leichhardt Oval. So I don't know.
You know this much better. You're a little bit about construction, much more. I wouldn't know what one brick costs. I've got no idea about construction. Yeah, what do you think 40 mil can get?
Look, I'll be honest, Josh. I haven't seen the plans or anything like that. Rothfield was saying tonight on 360 he's seen the plans. He believes there's plans for more corporate facilities as well as the new change area for the ladies that you mentioned. It really depends where they want to put the money to. If they might want to, upgrade the Keith Barnes stand, for example, because gosh, that's over that's just been basically there since his existence. So they might want to put another stand or some more seats on the hillside. I really don't know what the plan looks like, but it can certainly do a hell of a lot. And obviously, the bathroom facilities go without saying, because for me personally, as I've told you many times, I won't eat or drink there because I don't want to go to the bathroom there. So they'll get a bit more coin out of me if I can, feel free and comfortable to go to a bathroom there.
Not to get too personal, but what, you won't do number ones at Leichhardt Oval?
I won't do anything there, mate. I'm not going to walk in piss. Like, seriously, but I've been in there plenty of times, and it's just I don't need to go in there.
That's fine. It's a urinal. I get the female perspective. As a male, you can pee anywhere. Pee on a tree.
Yeah, well, mate, I'd rather pee on a tree.
I get why the women need it upgraded, man. The old toilets at the northern end of the ground were literally used to be. I only realized last game when I used them. They used to be literally a gutter, like literally physically a gutter underground in the dark. That was fine. Yeah. You do wee-wees anywhere. That's fine. But I don't know. I think, or the corporate facilities and all that sort of thing would be good. Toilets, more female friendly. They obviously need help there. But come on, Roberto. Just
well, look, I mean, like Saturday actually would have been a chance if I'd have got there earlier where, you are there long enough where you need to do something. But let's be honest, like we hardly get a game before first grade anyway. So it's not like you're there long enough that you have to go do something anyway. We've had some standalone games there.
I took my 3.5-year-old on Saturday and he did number ones in the toilet. So I guess it was fine. Anyway, enough piss talk. We're talking about a piss head, and then we're talking about
just on what Reedy was saying. He said we need like 300 million or whatever, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, not even Penrith is getting that much. Like he's literally just saying that to shit on the club and say it's a shit ground, they shouldn't play there, blah blah blah, just because he just seems to like bagging out the club.
I don't know what his problem is. Like, I think it's what you're right. What are Penrith getting? 60 million, is it? I think it's not much. I mean, it's obviously a lot more money, but in terms of percentage, they're getting an extra 50% of what we're going to get. So I think we can do plenty with 2/3 of the money Penrith are getting.
Righto. Anything else the Leichhardt Oval to add before we talk about our future star halfback?
No, just good to be 2 out of 2 there. So at least we can say we're undefeated there this year.
Can we make it 3 out of 3 is the question.
we will. Well, it's the Storm next, isn't it?
It is the Storm next. That's what I'm getting at. Yep.
Or maybe Sean Bloor. If Sean Bloor rests that week. Speaking of young superstars, Lachlan Galvin. So last week was NRL 360. Wouldn't shut up for 3 nights in a row talking about Lachlan Galvin, who's contracted to the West Tigers for 2 more years, and journos coming out saying he's not going to be there. Another one going, he was walking around the change room saying he doesn't want to be there. And Lockie's come out. He's had a meeting with Richo and Benji, and he's committed to the future, and he's going to see out his contract as, he signed the deal. He's going to honor it, and fingers crossed he's at the club for a long time to come, and his manager can go stick it where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We've long known how much of a stain his manager is, and he's always been trying to get players out of deals, trying to get them more money, just doing all those scummy things in all those scummy ways that he knows how, and it's just an absolute shit show. Lockie, my personal thought on it is maybe Lockie said something like he had a bad, well, not he didn't. Wouldn't say he had a bad game, but it was a tough night in Wollongong, and I personally had a bit of a breakdown after that game as well. I wouldn't be surprised if that young kid did. It's tough to take all those losses, especially after you've lost 8 in a row, and then loss number 9 ends up being an absolute shellacking. I mean, he's committed to his contract. He was always going to be. I just hope that next year we can win enough games with the halves combination of him along with Jerome Luai that can convince him the club's moving in the right direction and to extend his deal beyond 2026, because at the end of next year is when clubs can officially start talking to him.
Rob, what's your take on this? Do you feel good about ready to move on with all this contract talk with him?
Yeah, I'm very happy with it. I mean, obviously, as I've said socially, we need to obviously get off to a good start next year because he'll be free to negotiate, what is it, within 18 months of the end of his contract or something. So, we don't want this sort of talk coming up again. But look, to put all our supporters at ease, like unless they've been in a coma, they all know that Shane Richardson and Matt Betsy went to Lachie Galvin's parents' place. They had a good discussion. Lockie's committed to, being with the club and turning us around. And just as importantly, so are his parents. The one thing that's come out of this is there's either one or two really big liars, because Lachie Galvin said he never said what he said in the dressing room and he never asked for a release. And then Buzz Rothfield is saying that he did ask for a release, and Buzz Rothfield's also said that Isaac Moses has asked for a release. So I think we can put two and two together and work out who's doing the lying and who isn't. It was actually nice to hear something coming out of Lachie Galvin's mouth. The cynics will say, well, what are you expecting to say now that Richo's basically said you're not going anywhere and you've got to see out your last 2 years? I can accept a little bit of that, but I think there was just a lot of, I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit gullible, but I really liked what I heard from Galvin, or what I read in the media about what Galvin said. So I'm very comfortable with it. I'm sure he was there on Saturday, but my only little regret about Saturday is I just wish he was a part of that team that played, because, with all his mates and those young guys that have hardly played a game of first grade, I think having a win like that with him in the team, I think that'd be the sort of thing you just want to be around, for the future and build a club together. So that was my only little, thinking, geez, I wish Lachie played. But other than that, yeah, I'm very comfortable with it. I mean, doesn't mean I'm right, but I'm happy he's going to be there for 2 years, and I'm pretty sure Richo's put the agitation from his manager to bed now.
Manuel said, imagine being a teenager having to get by on 150k per annum. He's on 250 next year, 350 the year after as well. Look, in terms of starting halfbacks, it's not a lot of money, but yeah, for an 18-year-old, it's a lot of money. But I mean, with players being let go and that sort of thing, if we can secure him longer term, I'm sure that 250, 350 will get a little bit of a top up as well. So if he wants to,
and that's where the smarts of Richo comes in, Josh, as well, because Richo has pretty much said publicly, he's using the extension as leverage to up his current contract. He's saying, if you sign with us for a longer deal, not only will you get the money you want, I'll upgrade your next 2 years. And we haven't had a CEO with half a brain previously that thought like that. If someone wants out, we let them go. We've just made so many bad decisions under previous management, not totally on Pascoe, but he's had his finger in every decision. So it's just good to have a competent CEO that has our best interests at heart and won't get pushed over.
Big Screen TV on YouTube. We don't players who don't want to be there. We don't know that he said that. We literally don't, as Rob just said.
He said he wants to be there.
Yeah, Buzz was bullshitting. I think it's unfair for everyone to load on Lachie. There's absolutely no proof. It was just literally Buzz saying, someone told me they overheard him saying, and it's all blown up for the Porky. So I do feel a little bit sorry for him.
I just don't understand why Rothfield, Josh, I don't understand why Rothfield wouldn't go directly to the source. Because all Rothfield's done is he's contacted Moses, and Moses confirmed that he asked for a release. Why didn't he ask Lachie Galvin? And the reason I know why he didn't ask Lachie Galvin, because it doesn't suit Buzz Rothfield's narrative of 100%. Trouble in Tiger Town. So I mean, if you want to see if someone said something, ask them themselves. Don't ask a bloke that's got a pretty bad reputation in the NRL.
Righto, let's get talking about the big win on Saturday afternoon. 18-10, the West Tigers defeated the Gold Coast Titans, a double to Justin Olam and a try for Fanua at the end there. As when Jojo Fafita, though, scored after 5 minutes, didn't it quiet the crowd down, and you and I were kind of like, oh, no, it's not going to be one of those afternoons. Is it?
Yeah, I was really worried early. They made a lot of meters really early, like in that first set, attacking our right side as well, which I thought must have been something they were thinking about. Must have been something they'd planned, considering all our team shuffling. And at that point, when they scored that first try, I was incredibly concerned that we could be in for a bit of a long afternoon.
Rob, I think you were sitting. You said you didn't have that good of a view, but it would have been close to right in front of you. Those tries down that try down that left side.
Yeah, well, I was on that side that they were picking on, but as Aaron said, they made 2 long breaks. They could have been 12-0 prior to their first try. They made a really long break. They got outside Fatah Ape straight away, and to be honest, it was very easy. I'm not blaming Fatah Ape. I think Fainu and Olam have got a lot to answer for there, but they got outside us in the first set. And I think if Fafita passes the ball, they score a try. Then they made a break a couple of minutes later, and luckily Caesar sort of pushed the winger over. And yeah, like all of a sudden, like you thought, gee, what's going on here? Like 2 long breaks in 3 or 4 minutes. And then they finally got that try off the back of a 40-20 because, as most people would know, the Gold Coast had a pretty decent win behind them in the first half. And it just looked like it was going to be a long afternoon.
Justin Olam hit back in the 11th moment. Beautiful cutout pass from Aiden Caesar. Rewatching this one, you don't get this from up with the members of the Latcham. You basically, need binoculars to see the screen. So rewatching this one. Shout out to the West Tigers too. They don't cover up. I ranted previously about how they used to cover up replays with ads. They're not. I don't know. Maybe they don't have advertisers at the moment. I don't know, but they don't do that anymore. So we did actually get to see replays in this now. Thank you for not covering it up with Bryden's lawyers like you. Maybe that's the common factor there. But anyway, mini rant over. That cutout pass from Caesar out to Justin Olam straight in. Beautiful try, Roberto.
Yeah, it was a great try. And look, I've said it so many times over the last 3 or 4 years. I always say, it doesn't matter what the car's like if you don't have a good steering wheel. And look, it just really helped. Forget all the new pieces we had, players out of position, guys with no experience, having Appy and Caesar there, just guiding that team around. And really just having Caesar there, that extra leader on the field, someone with, years of experience, that really helped a lot. And the ball he put onto Olam was magnificent. So we needed that, especially into the wind. It was only the second time we got into the red zone and we were back in the game at 6-all.
Any thoughts on that nice little play down the left side?
Oh, it was a beauty of a pass, wasn't it? We needed something special. We needed something big, and it was a really good way to get our game started. And honestly, put a little bit of confidence back in the fans that it wasn't going to be the blowout we were all probably expecting after they scored their first try.
But Jaden Campbell in the 19th minute, he got the Titans back into the lead. That was pretty embarrassing defense up the guts there. I think it was Matamua possibly a bit slow to get across. But
I think it was Fanua Polo.
Yeah, I think Bolle was covering the guy on his outside. I don't know. What are your thoughts, Rob? Who do you think was more Bolle's fault there?
Why don't you just quickly go to Aaron and I'll do a little bit of research in the next couple of minutes.
Sure. Yeah, I've got it playing on my TV right now. It looks like Matamua wasn't quite in the position he needed to be in, which meant Fanua Pole was a little bit more.
Yeah, he was covering the
on the outside. So yeah,
well, he's covering the man outside. Yeah,
yeah, and that was kind of what gave them the break. And I think it was Matamua who didn't even attempt to make a tackle, which then caused Pole to miss.
But yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, straight up the guts, and Jaden Campbell getting over to make it, but luckily missed the goal from out wide. So it was only a 4-point deficit at halftime. And to be honest, Rob, at halftime, the first half we were pretty ordinary for the most part. I think only being 4 down yeah, I felt okay at that point. Not great, but like I felt like we were a chance.
I felt like we were an outside chance because I thought, okay, well, if this wind stays the way it is, we're going to have a breeze helping in the second half, although the breeze kind of died down. But look, I'm just being honest. I think the Gold Coast bombed at least 4 tries, probably 5. And even you're saying it was 10-6 on half time. Their fullback, Kinney, like he made a break. I'm not sure the player's name, but he had number 20 on the inside. And Kinney was a bit of a hog all day, to be honest. And he butchered a try. And then the Gold Coast were probably a bit unlucky not to get a penalty. The ref kept raving 6 again. Ashley Klein, he raved 6 again with a few seconds left to half time, which gave the Gold Coast no benefit. Yeah, but I was very happy at 6-10. We should have all been, but you kind of thought, geez, we've got to improve on this defence because, they carved us up really badly. And, as it turned out, I think after the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, I really felt we controlled the game and we were the better team. But definitely for 55 minutes, I think the Titans should have had the game out of reach by the time we sort of woke up and got into our own game.
Yeah, there's no denying the Titans were pretty awful in this one. A lot of unforced errors, and they burnt their challenge pretty early. Yeah, I think a few things went our way as well as. So yeah, it look, not to take away from the boys' effort, but yeah, the Titans were pretty rubbish and let this one slip and let us get back in the game.
Yeah, a lot of dumb errors, a lot of silly drop balls. They just kept shooting themselves in the foot. I will say at times I think our defense was causing some of those errors, but overall, when they were getting their opportunities, especially in the second half, they just weren't capitalizing on them.
So Justin Olam scored again in the 59th minute. It was a beautiful ball. I think Caesar threw it and put Samuel Afenu through. I think it was off Caesar's pass as well. Samuel, we'll talk about him probably in the player rating because he was rated pretty high. But man, he's been so good this year. One of our best players, pretty consistently, and he just summed it up perfectly there. Straight through, runs a hole. Really good hole runner, just so strong as well. He left Foreign for dead there, Rob, and then put it on Olam's chest.
Yeah, we tried that a couple of times, Josh. We really went hard at Foreign, and if you go back to the first half, I actually noticed we pretty much ran the same play in the 25th minute, and obviously Foreign made the tackle there. But I mean, eventually, if you keep running a big fella at a smaller fella, eventually he's going to miss. And but look, it was a really good line from Samuela, and then he threw a really nice torpedo pass, and even the way Justin Olam sort of really put the afterburners on to get into position to catch that ball, because there was a Gold Coast Titans player in between him and Fainu, so he did quite well there to get it. And Olam was outstanding. Olam's, I mean, we're talking about the tries, but some of his like defensive hits, like he certainly makes some really bad reads in defence when he jams in and leaves an overlap, but when he actually tackles the opposition player, they absolutely feel it, and he's playing with a lot of passion, and he's been a fantastic addition to our club.
Yeah, definitely Leichhardt Oval being that little bit closer, and you can almost feel it when he just that crunch when he hits someone. He doesn't just his power, his like lateral movement when he just moves in with his shoulder into the player is just second to none. Incredible. For a while there, as Carla said in the comments there, we were centimetres from scoring the try. I think I'm trying to think who went. Samuel, I think, fell just
Justin Olam had another one.
Justin had another one that was ball knocked out. So, we kept threatening, and then Api Coruscant back into hooker with young Heath Mason moving into the back line. Yeah, Appy said after the game on Fox Sports, he said it was a bit of a fluke, but you got to get in those situations as to get a bit of luck. But it was nice to see the bounce of a grubber and a pick up and a grounding by Fanua Bole get the win.
Yeah, I loved Appy's reaction to that. But that's really on him, because that's a tough little grubber kick to get through. because you don't have a very big target there through the legs of another player. Because he tried to, I think he was looking to go the short side just before he then dropped it onto the boot on the right. And great pickup by Fanua to get it down without knocking it on, because that's when they started showing the replays before it had been confirmed. I was worried that was what was going to happen, because it didn't quite look like he had been able to pick it up cleanly, but he had. And yeah, really great try. Really well done to put the game almost out of reach at that point.
Rob, who was it, the Queenslander? Was it Chris Close who had that off the crossbar in the rain? I don't know if you remember.
No, it was Greg Dowling.
Greg Dowling, Dishhead Dowling. Yeah, basically, I'm not old enough to have seen it live, but seen the replay 1,000 times. Basically, they put a chip in, hits the crossbar, and he does like a slips catch in like
slides
literally
over.
like a pool and slides over. It was similar sort of like a big man to get down low and to scoop it up. And yeah, as we did a high five, we went off, but I didn't go fully off because I'm like, you don't know with the replay. How were you feeling at that point, Rob? I was like
exactly how every West Tigers fan was feeling. How you were feeling. I'm too traumatized by the bunker. I don't know what a knock on or a knockback is, or a bloody what do you call it, disruptor, or anything is anymore. Like that, the disruptor that we lost the challenge on was rubbish. Just quickly, I just want to mention, just for a bit of a joke, that Titans challenge is the worst challenge of the NRL season. Like, who touched that ball? Keith Barnes? Like, there was no one there. There was absolutely no one there. So that was the dumbest challenge. Thank you, Titans, because you could have used it later and won one. But yeah, we all had our hearts in our mouths. And then obviously when you see it in slow motion, you think, gosh, can a big man really pick up a ball that cleanly? And obviously massive relief. Was very sure Appy wasn't going to miss that goal. I mean, he's only missed probably one simple conversion all year, which I think was at Campbelltown. But yeah, it got to 18-10. And look, they can score from the kickoff and something weird can happen. But I think we're all pretty comfortable that, we're going to hang on from there.
Yeah, except for when we played the Gold Coast. And we had...
we weren't 2 scores up, were we? We weren't 2 scores up that night.
It was a field goal. I'm trying to remember when Jock Madden dropped the ball.
No, I think we kicked a penalty or something, maybe be prior to that, or I don't know. It was just a really low scoring game on a
Benji field
goal. Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The only scoring of the game had been, I think, 3 penalty goals to us and 1 to the Titans, and that was round 4, 2022 or something. That was an absolute bludger of a game.
Was it ricocheted off Jock onto Seyfarth onto? I don't know what was going on there, and
yeah, because we were up 2 points, having only scored penalty goals, and we got another penalty and took another penalty goal to go up by 4, and then they got a ricochet off the post, and I think it was Jock who didn't fall on it in time, and that was unfortunate.
Time for your player ratings. Obviously, some much higher numbers, and Benji Marshall's rating out of 10. Some those towers leaning very towards the right side with the 10s there. It leaning so far right, it would probably be anti-abortion there. With the player ratings, we had 2 perfect scores. No, 1. No, that was sorry. When I last checked, it was 2. Someone's been given a miss there, so it's only Appy Coruscant. I'm trying to think. When I checked it last night, someone else had 100%, but someone's left. It might be Steph. Someone might have left Steph. I think it was Steph was on 100%, and someone has not thought Steph was worth a tick. There you go. Oh well. Only Appy Coruscant 100%. I don't know who. I could look it up. I won't shame them, but it's 97.6%. So Steph, Olam, and Bolle all got missed 1 vote there.
Samuel Afeno as well.
Where's Samuela? Where do I have him?
Couple above Appy.
Oh yeah, he's on a 4. Oh, yeah, so 440 out of 41. So yeah, I wonder if it's the same person. They just ticked Appy and moved on, maybe. But look, close enough. 92% for Dream Buller. Talent Silva got a 90%. So, yeah, Heath Mason's just 85%. So, yeah, any of those numbers shock anyone?
No, not really. They all look good. It's good to know that Buzz Rothfield's filling out our survey and trying to vandalise them a little bit by not ticking the good players off.
Yeah.
I just want to again, for like the 100th time in 2 seasons, give Appy Coruscant a rap. It's expected now that he's going to be brilliant. Like, he's consistently brilliant. And we're not talking about, we always talk about these guys that come to the club in their last few years looking for a retirement contract. The guy's won a comp at South in 2014. He won back-to-back premierships with Penrith. He's had a team, in the wooden spoon. He's had the humiliation of not being picked for Origin, which is an absolute disgrace. And he just puts everything into it. I know he had 10 missed tackles or whatever it was, but you don't notice it through the game. And he's always putting pressure on the kicker or moving up in the line really quickly to create an error. I just think we could not have a better captain. And there's a lot of talk about Jerome Luai being captain next year, but just let Appy be captain till he wants to hand the mantle over. He's just an absolute godsend for the club. He's great on the field, off the field. He's very humble. As you said, Josh, he said the try for Bolle was a bit of a fluke from his kick. He's just a really humble guy and a brilliant hooker. And, yeah, I just can't rate him highly enough.
I've got his press. We're going to do the presses, but let's talk a bit more about Appy, and here's what he said after the game.
With Benji?
I can't really remember how it happened, but it's just one of those things. Like, I love playing 7. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a great position, and yeah, when he asked me to, of course, I was going to do it. It's one of the things the team needed at the time, and yeah, I was more than happy to do it. It wasn't too complicated for me.
As skipper, how tough has it been the last 8 or 9 weeks?
Yeah, obviously, man. You're going back-to-back losses. I can't remember how many in a row it was, but it's just one of those times. It's hard to find things to say as well, and we're losing players. And like I said, none of that's an excuse. And I just love the energy the boys bring each week. So they just keep turning up.
We spoke with Adam Dewey at half-time. He said the senior boys got together this week and said it was a bit of a line in the sand moment. The standards needed to lift. The standards, I guess, were lifted today.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just one of those things, like we said, really inexperienced side, but when you have inexperience and youth, you have a lot of energy. And it was just about us older boys on the field just trying to lead us around the park, steer us. And I think those boys that debuted and those young guys actually played really well today, so it was great.
Yeah. Rob, did you know about that meeting that Adam Dwayhe organised with the senior players?
Not at all. That's the first I've heard that. I haven't heard the Benji presser or that either. So that's really nice to hear. Look, I mean, you can't force 50 and 100 games into guys that have hardly played a game. If we'd have lost by 30 or 40 points, obviously we'd be disappointed in losing, but the amount of experience these guys are going to gain, whether they win, and I'll tell you what, they're going to learn a lot more when we get thrashed as well. So I'm just happy that they're getting an opportunity, albeit through injury, but they're getting an opportunity. They're all going to be better for it within a couple of seasons, because if they get 10 games each the next couple of years, then they're 20 gamers or 25 gamers the year after. So Appy's just the right man to lead the club, guys. And, look, good on Benji for trusting those younger guys and putting people in different positions and weird positions and, having Porter start. Like he changed the team an hour before the game. Like he did make some moves. I mean, I think some things didn't work, but, I felt Fatah Ape was caught out on the wing a little bit, and there was one instance where Buller and Fatah Ape, no one contested a bomb, which I just think is unforgivable. You've got to try and catch balls on the full, especially when it's not a torpedo. But, mate, they're all young. Like, it's just this is a big learning curve. Whether we won or lost, it makes no difference to making the finals or anything like that. But the club needed a win for morale and to get, the media off our back a little bit. Not that it's done much good with Rothfield, but, at least the boys can go to training holding their heads up a bit higher and being a little bit more motivated. And look, Canberra weren't very flash last weekend either. So, maybe we can get 2 in a row. Who knows? But just very happy for all those guys. I think it was announced by someone, I don't know who it was, that 5 of our players had their first ever NRL win. Like, that's a pretty cool thing, So No, look, just very happy all round for everyone involved.
As a few comments mentioning Big Red, and not to give too much away, but you rated him and gave him some points this week.
Yeah, I have. I thought Red was really, really, really solid. Obviously, the big issue with him in recent times has been his discipline. That was on full display in the loss in Wollongong and a lot of other games as well. It was really good that I think I saw his stats. He did not make a single error or give away a single penalty. I don't think he was responsible for any of the set restarts we gave away either. So he really fixed up his discipline this week. And just on what you guys were saying about Appy, I don't know where I saw this or what the source was, but apparently that conversation between Appy and Benji earlier during the week where Appy was asked if he could play 7 or however that went down, apparently Benji said to Appy, I know you're trying to get selected for Origin, and I know this is going to hurt your chances. But then Appy basically shut that up and said, I'm just happy to do I just want to do what I can for the team. So he wasn't even fussed about Origin selection at that time. He just wanted to do what he could for the team. Even though, in my opinion, whether he played 7 or 9, he's still well and truly known as a 9, and he's put his best foot forward for Origin as a 9. And once again, the fact that he hasn't been selected is stupid. But yeah, it's just really good to see the attitude he's coming into this situation with. He just wants to put his best foot forward for the team, and that is something we sorely need.
In terms of down votes, not too many, a lot of blank spaces this week, which is good. Brent Nathan got a few hits there, Rob, as did Fatape.
Yeah, look, I could probably go into 5 or 6 guys if you want to nitpick, but guys, there are some guys playing their first game. So it's just not nice to do that. Fata Ape had some errors, but that's his first ever game on the wing. And, that's obviously a late call up as well because, Alex Lobb hurt himself in training. So he was never intended to play there. Or if he was meant to play, he would have been playing in the centres. So, look, the best part about it, there's lots of improvement from lots of different players that's needed. But what was good was, look, they're all going to make errors, but it wasn't through lack of trying. And just as a unit, you could see that attitude, the will to win. And as the game grew and as for every Titans error that was happening, you just felt these boys were growing in confidence and they were just going to hang in there until lightning struck. And then it obviously struck with the Olam second try and the boys hit the lead and they threw their bodies into everything. And sure, they missed some tackles, but they did the best they could, guys. And you could really feel the intensity. Sitting on the hillside, the crowd was just unbelievable. I couldn't believe 8,000 people could make so much noise, but you could really hear, obviously, almost sitting on the fence, how loud it was and how inspirational it was. So, no, it's just a great effort, guys. I can't, I know it was 9 line breaks to 2 for the Gold Coast, but I think we end up deserving that win because we were clearly the better team the last 20 minutes or so.
Gussie Harris sent us $2. Can you ask Chase Bet for a 44 option? The day that we get a 44-4 win, it'll be a party at Gussie's house, I reckon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Gussie. Righto, 3-2-1 time. Roberto, who have you gone 3-2-1 this week?
Obviously, I went for Appy. I'm not looking at the 10 missed tackles. I'm looking at just an absolute leader in every way, shape or form, and he's got the skill to back that up. I gave Samuel Afenu my 2, and I gave Justin Olam 1, but again, I thought Caesar's leadership was amazing. I thought Stefano's second stint was brilliant. Seyfarth was magnificent. Honestly, there were so many guys there, even Charlie Staines. Some of the hit-ups he does, going at 100 miles an hour into the teeth of the forward pack. Everyone had their good moments, guys. All the 17 players had their moments. Sure, there were some errors, but what do you expect when you've literally put a bits and pieces team in there that's, it's the youngest team ever. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys ever knew this, but back when we used to have City and Country, the games were so one-sided that they started having City and Country of Origin, and Country were allowed to pick a handful of players just to go with these inexperienced players from the country. And that's what it felt like on Saturday. It felt like we had 4 or 5 regular first graders with all these guys that have hardly played a game, and somehow we found a win, and they'll remember that forever, and so will I.
That City Country used to be you pick players playing in the country, wasn't it?
Correct. Yeah, you pick. I think like you're going back to. I mean, you probably heard about the famous game where Phil Sigsworth tried to pass the ball in goal in State of Origin to Phil Duke, and Phil Duke dropped the ball. Phil Duke was from the country, and it was a true selection criteria. So when City played country, it was literally pretty much whoever played better got selected. But obviously those games got so one-sided because you got the heart, everyone from the New South Wales Rugby League playing against all these guys from the country, and obviously the fitness levels, everything was different. So I think they might have had either 5 or 7 players they were allowed to pick that were playing in the Sydney comps. I remember one year, I think, country had, Peter Sterling and, a handful of other guys trying to just sort of make that team a little bit more competitive. They still got thrashed, but, it just felt a bit like that on Saturday. It had that feel where we had Appy and Caesar and, even like Naden and Staines. They haven't played that many games in their careers, and there wasn't too much else left there. The rest was, Steph was the leader of the forward pack, basically, and what's he had, 55 games or something. So it was just ridiculous how much or how little experience our players had, and to pull off a win like that. Because really, the Gold Coast weren't missing many other than David Fafita, AJ Brimson. I don't really know many other Titans players, to be honest, but there weren't that many missing, not like we had.
Who'd you go?
So I gave my 3 to Appy, much for the same reason as Rob. Like, who cares about all those missed tackles? The leadership, the guile, the way he led the team around, absolutely outstanding effort from the captain. Now, this is probably the part that'll surprise people. I gave Seyfarth my 2. Like I said before, I thought he was brilliant. Kept his head on this week. Didn't lose his marbles. Didn't give away a penalty or a set restart or anything like that. And was there in attack, there in defence. Played a lot of minutes and did a lot of good things. So I think I've given Seyfarth now 5 points maybe in 2 weeks, which I didn't think I would ever do. So I hope Riff Raff enjoys that in particular. And I gave my 1 to Sam Weller. I thought he was also really, really solid thereabouts in attack. Also defended really well. There were probably three or 4 other players that could have deserved points. And I also just want to give a bit of a shout out real quick to the 2 debutants. Obviously, Heath Mason had a bit of an unfortunate moment where he gave away a penalty right off the bat, which I thought was a bit stiff. And the big fella, Jordan Miller, he was there. Every carry he made was brilliant. He was there in defense. Really solid debut for the big fella, who I think Adam Dewey said on the pre-game wasn't sure how he was going to go getting air in the lungs in first grade, but I think he handled it really, really well.
There was one point with Jordan Miller. There was a kickoff, obviously, after the second Olam try, and Jordan Miller was coming off the back fence. I can't remember which player it was, but the player that caught it didn't pass it to him, and he was like had a full head of steam off the back fence.
Was it Fa'atape? I think it might have been Fa'atape.
Yeah, and he didn't give it to him, and he just and then he wanted to go run the next, and they didn't pass it to him the next. It was like, man, I can't wait to see him.
He had his opportunity to do his Manua Pole run off the back fence, and he didn't get that moment.
I wanted to see what happened there, but your vote based on the percentages: Api Coruscant 3, Samuela Fainu, Samuela Fainu with 2, and Stefano Utuikamanu with 1. So with that, Api Coruscant has soared. He's got a 14.5 lead over Lachlan Galvin. Steph in 3rd, and Samuela, he's moved up into the top 4. He's jumped Dream Buller by half a point there. And righto, stats man, what have you got for us this week?
So this week, today I wanted to do a little bit of a comparison between our team from the game on Saturday and the Baby Broncos team of 2002. I asked in the Discord if anyone had some info on that for me because I couldn't find anything. And they told me when the game was, and I actually didn't know that it was against us. Apparently, the average age of their team for that game was 21, And I ended up managing to find something that said they had a lot of players from, I think it was the Western Clydesdales, who was their feeder club at the time. A lot of 17 and 18-year-olds come in, and I don't think 17-year-olds are allowed to play NRL anymore without very strict regulations or exemptions and things of that nature. So I didn't think we would come that close, our average age, to that group. And it turns out closer than I thought. So our average age on Saturday was 23, with the baby Broncos being an average age of 21. So we honestly weren't that far off. And I just went and had a little bit of a look through. So obviously we had 2 debutantes, and we had 5 players who had played 10 or less games who had all picked up their first win, which actually included Talon De Silva, because I didn't remember this at the time, but Talon didn't win any of the games he played for us last year, and this was his first one this year. Game number 6 for him. And then as well, we had Justin Matamua, who just missed the cut. It's his second win in 11 games. So there's a lot of inexperience in that team. The way they stood up and played for each other, I thought was absolutely brilliant.
What year was the baby Broncos?
2002.
2002 at
Campbelltown.
I was Campbelltown. I always thought it was in Brisbane. It was at our home ground too. So we lost 28-14. Is that it there? So
I think that's the one, yeah.
So some of the names in there. Nick Parfitt was fullback. This is for Brisbane. Scott Minnow on one half. Steve Irwin on a wing. There was a player called Steve Irwin.
They had Scott Prince, Corey Parker.
Yeah, no, but hang on. The Crocodile
Shane
Hunter was
Walker
playing on the
well
wing.
there.
The other Shane Walker. Was
there's
our
2 Shane Walkers, is there?
Yeah. The
Well,
other
there's Shane Walker.
Our Shane Walker and their Shane Walker, but our Shane Walker. Stop saying Shane Walker so much. He wasn't playing that night, but looks of it.
The Shane Walker that was there that night, Aaron, is the uncle of the halfback Walker that plays for the Roosters now.
Oh, really?
Steve Irwin scored 2 tries.
Yeah.
Crikey. Casey Maguire got 2. Robert Tanya. I had no idea who these. Brad Myers, obviously the big ranger. Robert Tanielu, Michael Curry, Philip Lee, Elia Takiri. Any relation?
I don't know about that one.
Nathan Friend. Is that the Nathan? Yeah, it is the Nathan Friend.
Yeah.
What season? That was one of his very first grade games. No, it was his only game for Brisbane. It was his NRL debut. There you go.
Wow.
Didn't know that. Chris Carla or Carler, Steve Lacaze.
Lacaze, I think is that one. And I found the article, which is actually on the Broncos website, about the history of their captaincy from back in 2015. Like, it was the start of the season. Apparently, Lacaze was only called upon the day of the game to play that game.
Yeah, right. He was probably like running a fruit shop or something. They said, "Bring your boots." Who was an outside? Joel Kane, Hassan Salah, and Ahmed Bajouri. Did I get the name right there, Rob?
Yep.
Kevin McGuinness, Matt Sears was playing centre. Lincoln Withers, Ben Jeffries, the halves. Corey Pearson, John Skandalis, Robbie Mears was at hooker. Darren Senna, Willie Manu. Troy Wozniak was at lock. Balin Couples, I don't remember him. Luka Ozaka, Chris Patterson, Nick Bradley, Kalawala. Yeah, Kalawala. There. So, yeah, it's not the best of... We obviously had a few guys out as well, because we had 2002. Did we have Craig Field in 2002, or was he gone by then? Who was our half in 2002? We had...
Lincoln Withers would have been our half, I think.
Yeah.
Lincoln Withers was our number 7.
Yeah, he's playing 6 there. Yeah, that was Terry Lamb year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, 2001. Yeah, last year. 2001.
2003 Machines. So it must have been Lamb the year before.
Yeah. Pierce did 2000, yeah.
Also,
let's not talk about old stuff anymore.
Shout out to Tiger 2047, aka Luke, who in the Discord, who was the one who helped me get started on finding all that info.
Yeah, how'd you find this? Is obviously a rugby league project, I guess. There you
Good
go.
on you. We have a win, and we've brought up two famous Tigers losses: the Gold Coast and the Brisbane.
Balance. It's all about balance.
Seriously.
Next time we lose, we'll bring up a win.
Yeah, we have.
But possession-wise, in this game, the one we're talking about, 2024 now, 51% possession for us, 35 out of 42 completion. Look, not the best, but 27 out of 40 for the Titans. Ugh. We've already, they were pretty rubbish. Run meters, they had about 180 more. They made that 180 of those meters in the first 7 minutes, I reckon. What else we got here? Post contact meters, they had an extra 70-ish. Line breaks 9-2 to them. Tackle breaks an extra 17. Set distance an extra 6 meters per set. Better offloads were the same. What else we got? Kicking meters were a lot longer for us, but I guess if you're not making as much, if you're making more meters with the ball, you're not going to have to kick it as far, are you? Force dropouts.
If you're making more errors, you're not getting to your kick as often.
Yeah.
If you're going 90 meters with the ball, you don't have to kick it at all.
Yeah, you're both correct. Tackles, they made an extra 54-ish. Missed tackles, an extra 17. Look, statistically, errors. I mean, the errors are the big one. 14 to them, 7 to us. So, 4-2 penalty count our way as well. So, yeah, look, not state of origin football, but who cares? We got the 2 points. That's all that matters, right? The meter eaters for us, 2 guys over 200. After having weeks of guys barely cracking triple digits, we had Dream Buller of 207. Stefano had 206, which is crazy for a front row. God, went to all Cherry Hill then. Front row forward, 143 each. Bang on 143 for Bole and Sayfarth.
Just about Stefano really quickly as well, Josh.
Yep.
I think I don't remember who it was, but someone in the Discord said about 15 or so minutes into the game that Stefano looked absolutely gassed. He came off after, I think, 20-ish minutes it might have been, and then went back out there about 5 minutes or so into the second half, and then absolutely blitzed it after halftime.
Yeah, what he ate at halftime must have had some red frogs or something. Post-contact meters, 75 for Stefano, so he led there as well. Line breaks, only 1 each to Olom and 1 to Fainu. That was probably their tries, or setting up the try for Olom. Hit-ups, 15 for Steph. Tackle breaks, he led that as well. Yeah, Steph, statistic-wise, offload leader with 3. Tackling-wise, Big Red, the leader in tackles this week, 35. And our mate, is it Ruben Porter? I've got there, yeah, Ruben Porter, 33 and 4. He doesn't even have a photo in a West Tigers jersey. That's how fresh he is. 33 and 6 missed for young Talon the Silver, and he didn't play 80 minutes either, so pretty good effort by the young fella. Right, a bit more press conference stuff. Let's start with Benji talking about the desire to win this one.
Okay, but this is all them. Like, honestly, sometimes the game plan's out the window, and it's just a win built on intent, energy, and just desire. And we're fighting at the end there. They were coming back. We're winning by 2, and just the desire and the energy to stop those tries at the end. It makes you proud as a coach.
What about the guy?
Yeah, as good for Benji to get the win as much as anyone.
Yeah, if there's someone around the club who needed that win in particular, it was Benji, given all the criticism he's been copping recently. Obviously, there's a fair bit of people being concerned about his coaching and how he's been going, but I thought he had a really good game plan, really solid, and the team really lifted for him, despite all the chaos with the injuries that he has said multiple times they don't want to use as an excuse. But yeah, the club lifted, performed for him, and I'm glad he got to go home from Leichhardt a happy man last night or Saturday night.
Here's Benji talking about Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah, we needed it. Not only as a team, as a club, as a whole, our fans. And just on that, like to come to Leichhardt after 9 straight losses and see our fans turn up today like they did on the hill and coming in from warm-up standing ovation, like for the players, that's that lifts you, and well, that's been tough. I'm sure Api will confirm it. To have that support after a tough time, that meant a lot to us, and to see them at the end there celebrating was pretty special.
Yeah, the Leichhardt factor, I did a quick look back at Leichhardt because obviously it is in the club's history the only place that we have a 50% or better win rate. But we actually have in the last, I looked it up, last 19 games with crowds, we are 10-9. And 10-9 doesn't sound great, but in the last few seasons, we've only won, what are we up to? 11 out of nearly in 2.5 seasons. To have more than a winning percentage, the Leichhardt factor is definitely something, Rob. It's not a myth.
No, it's definitely not a myth. I mean, we always raved on about that's why I personally got heated about giving home games away to New Zealand. You just can't be giving any home game away. Okay, I mean, obviously we're 2 out of 2, but even Aaron can correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we beat Cronulla, we beat these guys at Leichhardt, and I'm pretty sure in both second halves we haven't conceded a point. You can't tell me that's not because the fans don't lift you. They're driving you the whole 80 minutes and they can feel the noise and they can feel the energy. It's just no coincidence that we've won 2 games there. It's just disappointing that we haven't won at Campbelltown because we've had packed crowds there. We've been sold out there for the Broncos and Saints and, I don't know. We just haven't found our best foot there. But, yeah, there's something, look, I mean, obviously, as far as I'm concerned, personally, there's something special about Leichhardt, but it shouldn't be just Leichhardt. We should be the same way at Campbelltown as well. And, obviously that's something we've got to try and instill in the players because, again, we keep saying that's our growth area. That's where we want to promote things. Just can't keep losing there and expecting the kids wanting to wear Tigers jerseys when they grow up.
And hopefully, I mean, we're going to Campbelltown this Sunday afternoon if the weather's good. Yeah, hopefully on the back of a win, you'd hope that it motivates plenty of fans to get out there. The 3 of us will be there. Maybe Gussie Harris will as well. He sent us another $5. Good on you, Gussie. He said, "You gentlemen have been a huge part of this club last few years. Thank you for your relentless support for the team. Massive love, loyal Tiger humans." Thanks, Gussie. Look,
thanks, Gus.
Yeah, a huge part of the club. Look, the former bosses of the club would probably disagree with you, but thank you. Appreciate it. Right on. Moving on. Any changes for next? I just mentioned, we're playing the Raiders next week. Do you boys expect any changes? Lachlan Galvin, maybe?
Yeah, so Benji said Lockie should be back, and we're probably expecting that to be the case. So we'd be expecting Abby to move back to 9, Caesar to move back to 7, and I hope that we keep Talon on the bench as the utility and give him a bit of a run. Obviously, that probably is really unfortunate for the likes of Heath Mason because it means he's going to be one and done in first grade for the time being. But
he's young.
I think also Lob and Twal may be able to come back based on the fact that I think Carla, it was asked NRL Physio on X during the week if they'd be able to come back for our next game. And
they will.
NRL Physio stated that it's 11 sleeps after the incident is when they're eligible for selection again. And because it was the Wednesday and we play on the Sunday, they are eligible, but only just.
Yeah, Lob City. I don't know, Fatape or Lob City, Rob.
Oh, it's not even close. No offense to Fatape. Yeah, I'd have to give just for the fact that he's an aerial threat, and they got around Fatape too much. I mean, Alex does have a tendency to jam in a little bit too, but I mean, I'd go with Lob. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I wouldn't mind seeing Mason get another go on the bench in place of Talon, at least if something, he could go into the halves. I mean, I know Appy can go into the halves too, but Just give him another go. He didn't miss a tackle. He did give away a couple of penalties, but he didn't miss a tackle. Looked like a threat. A couple of Talon's passes went a bit astray. So I don't mind giving Mason another go, just, while he's got a feel for it. He had a lot of energy when he came onto the field.
Yeah, it's a tough one for Benji. Yeah, who do you, like you said, he's more versatile and he's very impressive. Yeah, I don't know. Guess we'll see. Four o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
What he does. But I mean, would you do the Appy back to the halves, bring Caesar off? Yeah, like is there something we'll just play Appy play 9 the whole time?
Yeah, Appy 9 and give him a breather, and have your backup hooker come on.
Right, some of your best comments from the survey. Thank you to everyone who filled it out. Keep an eye out on our socials. I got it up about an hour late. I literally got home after celebrating the win and us three getting a photo in front of the scoreboard and that sort of thing. I literally sat with Az in the second half, making sure that I had all the players correct, and then I forgot to bloody share it online until I got home. But thank you to everyone who filled it out. Keep an eye on Sunday evening to do it again. Craig Aquilina. Aquilina, thank you. Run hard, tackle hard. It ended up being as simple as that in the end. Add in no 7 tackle sets conceded. Is that right?
No sin bin. Right.
I think we.
No, we did. I think that meant like.
No, we didn't kick any. Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we didn't kick any dead. I guess. Yeah, we just got tackled on a metre out. No dumb penalties or sin bins, and even with one of the youngest sides ever, we got the well-deserved win. More of this, please. John Bailey said, "Nail biter. I'm glad we played at Leichhardt with a loud crowd. Keith Barnes sprinkled the magic dust from above, as Blocker said. Happy Klein and had his whistle in his pocket for most of the game. Our marker defense was a worry, but the boys hung in. Appy was great. Samuel Fainu busted them open with a try assist. Finally, a grubber and a Pole great try. Really great to see Steph smash second half. Miller and Mason, good debut. Well done, Tigers. I thought we could win with David Fafita out. Go Tigers." Tiger Andy said, "Bolle was my man of the match. Great game. Hit-ups, post-contact meters, defensively sound. He's starting to develop into a good first-grade player. Yeah, give him a contract, please, Richo." Dominic Riordan said, "There was a bit to like after that very poor start, which had us all expecting a 50 burger. The team steady, competed very well, scored some nice tries and kept it interesting. We're relying on a lot of inexperienced players and it cost us. Casey and Ali Male struggled, but that was Manamua's best game in first grade. Pole was strong. This is last week. I don't know how I keep doing that.
That was the Cowboys game, I think.
I love it.
You left that one in there 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't. Dominic, I'll read it again next week. Simon English said, "Steph is back, but what's his motivation now? And will it continue? Extend Pole, I like that. Extend Pole ASP." Frankie said, "The moment we let Papali head to Panthers and send our CEO shop around players." Yeah, I think I left that one in. Sorry, Frankie. Got another one this week. "I must need a win. I thought we were gone when Jojo Fafita looked certain to score. I can't help but think that the great Keith Barnes had a hand in making that happen." Riff Raff, our man over in Miami, he said, "Fuckity, fucking, fuck me dead, fuck yes, and fucking joy team, fuck yes."
He probably wanted me to read that one out, given I know he likes when
you
make
swear.
A few swear words.
Luke Haywood said, "Steph's best game in black, white, and gold. Led well as the most experienced forward. Leichhardt lifted those boys and helped a lot. I did my part. Got no voice tonight." And Connor Noon said, I'm gonna need a 10-minute breakdown of the Bolle match winner. I think we
didn't do that.
Good luck to Connor's man, Luka Doncic tomorrow against the Celtics. Let's get it 3-2. Robert Thompson, great job, Tigers. That is what we're really proud to be supporters when you all play well together in attack and defense. Defense, hopefully we can continue for the rest of the season. You have all proven that you can do it. Shouts to, what's his name? Rob Schneider, who's in the country at the moment. Tips-wise, what did you guys get?
Pretty
I had a
bad.
shocker. I think I got 3. I think the Tigers saved us as.
Yeah, the Tigers were my first correct tip, and I never thought I'd say that I'd be 0-3, and then the Tigers would be the team that saved me from a potential perfect round of incorrect tips.
Rob Shadamas, we didn't do anything last week. We'll think of something for Wednesday's show. We did a Tuesday show last week, but check out westtigers.com.au. Press the purple button, sign up with ChaseBet if you haven't already, and then send them a little DM and say that we sent you. Think about your choices. Gambling help is available at 1-800-858-858. How'd you go on the ponies on Saturday, Rob? Any good? Very wet.
No, I didn't pony on the weekend.
I didn't pony. Okay. New South Wales Cup. So lower grades. New South Wales Cup. That's the wrong one. That's actually Jersey Flegg. New South Wales Cup lost. What have I done there? I'll have to look it up. New South Wales Cup. Let's get Jersey Flegg for the starters. They won 28-16. That was the first game at Leichhardt. They're sitting in the top 4. How early to the game did you get, Az? Did you see any lower grades?
I saw the second half of reserve grade, and that was it.
How did Adam look?
Adam looked pretty good. Little rusty, obviously. It's his first game in over 400 days. Didn't really get a lot of attacking opportunities. Got angry at the touchy that was on his side a couple of times for what I thought was some absolutely bullshit calls. But he'll take some time to get back into the swing of things. But it was good for him to blow the cobwebs out and get some runs in the legs and get some tackles in and all that sort of thing. So overall, decent, but probably not too much more can be expected after such a long time out.
Yeah, 36-6 New South Wales Cup loss. So obviously, with so many players playing up in first grade, it obviously pulls from
half of the reserve grade team right now is Ron Massey, I think, which I don't know what age group that is, but that's younger.
Ron Massey is it's a Sydney comp. It's men's. It's a Sydney comp. So we pull ours from Ride Eastwood Hawks.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
For example, Penrith have St Mary's. So it's basically third, the grade below. We used to have Magpies playing Ron Massey, but they didn't do it this year. So we just feed her up with Ride Eastwood for that one. Super chats. We've done the super chats. Shout to our fellas in Phil and Gussie. It says here, Mick's been a member for 2 months too. Good on you, Mick, supporting. And to all our YouTube members and our Patreon members, patreon.com/WestsLife. If you want to support the show, it's just literally $3 a month. Join us in the Discord. The Discord's fully pumping now, all sorts of channels, talking about all sorts of sports and that sort of thing. Roberto's back in there too. Did we just get another one? Brandon sent us $8. Good on you, Brandon. Great win overall. The fruits of these juniors coming through for the long term, like Miller, Mason, Galvin, etc., building nicely for next season. 100%, Brandon. And thank you again, Brandon. So consistent. Every single ep chucks us some dollars. We really, really appreciate it. Righto, weekly rant channel. What the fellas and girls got? Shane Colett said, around the room, do you think with the $40 million injection into Leichhardt, they will allocate more games there? Will it make no difference? I think Richardson is set on the bigger venues. We kind of talked about that straight off the bat, but I think in the short term, he'll go big venues, and then, when it opens, he'll go back to more. Anyone disagree?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Luke Tiger 2047 said, I reckon there probably would have had to be some guarantee from West Tigers playing minimum number of games there to get funding, maybe 3 or 4 a year. Yeah. Well, he was just answering.
Being
Shane's
used
question.
for other sports, though, as well, though.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope so. But yeah, thank you to all our Patreons, and thank you to the hundreds of you that joined us live again tonight. What are we at? Hour 15. Pretty efficient show tonight. I think we've done well. We'll be back Wednesday night to preview the Raiders game. As you said off air, there was something happened with the NRLW team that you saw as well that we missed tonight.
Yeah, so the NRLW squad has been finalised. All of our players have been announced. All of our extra signings have been announced, but they've added our 4 additional NRLW development players who go on to first grade contracts next year. So there's 4 ladies here. I don't have any information about them, unfortunately, but they are Chelsea Seville, Claudia Brown, Ayamima Etuale, I think maybe, and Evie McGrath.
Edie McGrath. There you go. Any relation to Glenn? Old pigeon. Anything to add, Rob?
No, just glad to be able to talk about a win. Hopefully, have we got any games pre-hand on before first grade on the weekend? Do we know?
It's 3. Yeah, 3 again. Yep.
Beautiful.
Back to back.
Well, weather being good, I'll be out there nice and early, get to the club, and head next door into the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me just confirm. Obviously, we'll talk about it on Wednesday night, but I'm pretty sure Flegg.
Sure.
Yeah, 11:50 against the Doggies in Flegg, and
Who are
New
top
South
of the
Wales.
table, I think.
And Doggies 1:30 in New South Wales Cup. So Canterbury in the lower grades and Canberra for first grade. Oh, there you go. Benjamin, the comments, is onto it already. All right.
Thank you, Ben.
Good show tonight. It's always great talking about a win. Do it more, West Tigers, please. We want to talk about wins. It's much more fun than talking about losses. Yeah, that just about puts a bow on it. And I've got a little thing to play here. Yep, it's ready to go. As always, boys, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
That was actually the Sharks one. I put the wrong video up. But that's all right. It was good anyway. Good on everyone.
It's a better version, actually.
We weren't using paper in the sheds last night or Saturday night.
And Lockie
I'm
Galvin
thinking Clemmer didn't play on the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, neither did Lockie.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the WestsLife Podcast. Please follow us at WestsLife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and facebook.com/WestsLifePod. You can also support and take part in the show at patreon.com/WestsLife, and give us a subscribe on YouTube and turn notifications on. We'll see you again next time on another episode of the WestsLife Podcast.